couple of messages that it sends to God. When you say, God, I trust you on my behalf, and you're going to work some things out for us on our behalf. He's going to take us around the enemy's camp, and while the enemy is plotting against us, he's going to take us around, and when the enemy gets ready to come out to attack, he's going to say, they way up the road. And we're going to be so far out of their distance, so far from distance from them, that they won't be able to attack us like they want to. Another message that trust sends to God, it says, you're giving your spirit man freedom to operate freely because it's not grieved by what circumstance you're going through. So when you come in this building or when you go home, you say, God, I trust you. And nothing, the circumstances around me, the elementals around me won't affect me. Trust is simply God's protection of his assets. And guess what his assets are? You. You are his assets. So when you trust him, you say, God, it's like you put money in the bank and you trust them that they're not going to take your money. They're not going to do anything to it. So God invests in you. When you invest trust in God, you are his asset. God does things behind the scenes that we don't even know about. There are things that he protects us from because we trust him solely. So some things that we don't know about, it could be a car accident coming up the road, but God says turn left instead of going right. He said go home a different way, or don't walk in your office that way. Walk around, take a 15-minute break instead of a 10-minute break, because something might happen. Somebody might come into your office and want to fire you, but he said take a 15-minute break, and that 5-minute window, God's already spoken to your boss. What happens when you don't trust? We create an Ishmael when God already had an Isaac waiting. Just like Sarah. Sarah knew that God had already said that she was going to have a baby, but she didn't trust God enough in his timing to do it. He said, I got to create something. I got to go get Hagar. You have Hagar. But then she created the Ishmael, and then she was upset about it in the end. So she created something that she didn't have to create. All she had to do was wait for God to move into her womb. When we don't trust, we worry. Matthew 6:34, and I'm going to read this from the God's Word version. It says, don't ever worry about tomorrow. After all, tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. So we shouldn't worry because it just sends a signal to God. But God, I know you're gonna do it, but I don't know how, and I gotta check it out. But you're not really totally trusting and depending on God. You know, when we don't trust God, we lose strength, spiritually and physically. Isaiah 40:31. It says, but those who trust in the Lord for help will find strength renewed. They will rise on wings as eagles. They will run and not get weary. They will walk and not grow weak. You know, in the King James, it says not faint, but here in the God, it says we won't grow weak. Our spirit man won't get weak because we're trusting in God. And when you trust in God, it's renewed confidence. It's a renewed strength. And then when God does what he does, you're just amazed and you get so much strength from it. Why is it important to trust? God commanded us to trust in Proverbs 3:5 and 6.